Okay. So there's a lot of talk. Well, you can't gatekeep. You're gatekeeping. Okay, gatekeeping. What's gatekeeping? Gatekeeping is when someone is trying to stop you from having an opinion on someone being whatever they are, and you know, you can make up any word you want to really about it, but let's put it this way. I go by medical science. I go by the science that I'm in the field of, and I have a very wide range. But medical science is one of them that I understand and comprehend very well. Basically, it was like, strong cosmology, junk science, what the hell ever. Okay, medicine, because biology's easy. It really is. We used to call the extra chromosome mitochondrial DNA. That's why we called it that, mitochondrial DNA, because it was fed off of it. We didn't know how that worked or anything. We didn't know much about the mitochondria or any organelles really for that matter. We knew they were there and some about how they worked, but not much more. And as time progressed and all these questions on how does this do this, how does it take the sugars and break it down into this energy compound, this energy molecule, particle. It's basic simple. So I said bacteria, believe your analogy, takes and converts them to sugars. Take carbon dioxide and breaking compounds down and putting them back together again, adding in this little piece of light particle that gets from photosynthesis. This then is taken advantage of the eukaryote. And the eukaryote cell captured into different bacteria. Ones are plants, the others are animals, eukaryote systems, but slightly in different manners. The first set, of course, took off was the plants, and they went on land first. And then the animal section, the mitochondria, bacteria, started forming in the water first and then eventually made its way on land. And this process took billions upon billions of years. And we're pretty sure that a lot of compounds that we think that God delivered or whatever and created everything all at once really was actually delivered by the bombardment of our planet. It brought us water, it brought us nitrogen, it brought us all the elements and compounds that our planet's made of today. And these were all made out of dead stars and systems previously before us. What you call it, space really isn't empty, it's full of debris and gases. It's dust and gas, and dust is an understatement. Some of those dust particles can be as big as Mount Everest. So, like I said, this is also a reason why the actual feasibly flying at the speed of light becomes absolutely impossible. Because all that dust and any debris is like getting hit with a nuclear bomb on your hull, and it would literally be non-stop. So really trying to traverse space by going at the speed of light would really not be that much possible. I mean, you'd literally be blown apart before you even got anywhere near anywhere. Not to mention the actual process of speeding up to the speed of light would be quite long and arduous. You still wouldn't make it. It'd be a generation ship if it was going to be something like that. And you're better off just building your own habitat. Really would be much more simple just to build a habitat that had a adjustable gravity so that you put it to 1G and not really worry about it. But say to me, you think this world is some created thing that's going to be protected and it will be destroyed. Everything does. Everything has a death. Even the universe will eventually fizzle out and die. No more hydrogen to make stars within. Well, the one thing we know is the Gliese star systems are the little red dwarfs, and they can burn for as long as 50 million years. So there's a lot of little red dwarfs laying around at the very end, and there'll be little red specks here and there. They still be dark, very dark. Right. Not to mention we found things like eating galaxies or destroying them. We've had several black holes disappear, which I have my own hypothesis on what that is. But besides that, it really doesn't matter. If you cannot really get out there, the only thing you can do is mathematically try to decide what might have happened. And you put this in there, this is our best guess for some of this. And it is theoretical in a lot of senses for cosmology, because the distances to get to these places and actually get a physical sample would be impossible. Especially something like the BLGs. When you're talking about one of the very luminous galaxies, which we know because of the chemical composition that we see out there, that it's in a different composition. So, therefore, the stars burn a little brighter, a little bit hotter, and more pressure. Therefore, they build elements when fusing that are more uniform in their compaction. So when you got a compacted silica from a BLG, you get a much more luminous silica because it's much more orderly and compacted in. Whereas ours is a little more loose and dense and has some faults and fractures, but these are more perfect. So there's always something that we're looking at and studying. And we do it by observation through these very large telescopes, and a lot of it's now done online. Most people have never seen through a massive telescope like that with their naked eye. And none of the extremely large arrays have ever had an eyepiece put in them. They actually have, basically, it's like 4 to 6 devices stuck to it. When the light comes out, it's sent to these different sensors that they have. And one of them is a visual CCD, and it can take the different narrowband filters and run them through it and get the chemical composition. You can also get like densities and brightnesses in, basically do spectrograph showing the chemical composition of some of the stars that are around and things like this through these different devices, which are attached to the where the eyepiece would be. Of course, these are gigantic telescopes, so there's really no eyepiece that's made to fit them anyways. So they have the sensors instead, and whereas you might think, well, that's a fake picture. Well, when you take a picture off of a cell phone of yourself, is that a fake picture? It's the same idea. It's a CCD in your camera that takes a picture, just like any camera. So when the CCD is picking up visual light, and it doesn't need anyone there to actually do this, like I've heard some idiots actually say, and it really just kind of saddens me to watch people try to throw away science and use the same techniques as gatekeeping. You can't question the word of, you can't question someone's. If you do not question everything, then you're accepting everything at face value without any kind of knowledge or any kind of proof whatsoever. And if you do that, really what you're doing is you're doing yourself and everyone else around you a disservice. So what would be best is listen to what people are saying, go and look and research it up yourself. See if this is actually what is going on. And I've actually turned a few people that were kind of rude and nasty and very transphobic and bigoted, and I actually told one of them, I can't help that you're a moron and can't read the studies and actually figure out what's being said. I said, but don't worry, because some people are going to come around and they're going to be able to read the study and they're going to do it, and then they'll think what an idiot you really are. You should continue, and the studies were sitting there and it was written to you. So they go back and An hour later, I get a notification, so I go and look, and it's them. And there's a 3-paragraph apology. So I was like, okay, yeah, well, you get the idea maybe. But it was made for transsexuals, and it was done with their brains. It was made to clear transsexuals of the shit that they had to put up with. Because GNCs, they just get their shit right off the street, or some of their gay boyfriends knew a gay doctor and then gave them some. We would go in there and we get run off. Because you want to whack? Yeah, no, go away. And then in 1999, they had a female to male die from purple tumors because the gynecologist didn't want to give him a hysterectomy because, you know, looking like a man, they might freak out their patients. So, he had to die because no doctor would touch him. And I was 99, so you understand what it was like. We didn't get a clinic that would help here until 2015. All that time. Wasted waiting. But the things to study came out when I looked like this. So they could have saved me and just said, look, maybe we'll go ahead and let you do this because, you know, there's a study that just came out, we need to peer review it, but, you know, we'll just go ahead and let you do it anyways. But they didn't. Made me wait 15 years. 16. So, between the medical community and the way they were doing, and it was public hearing. It's like that. I used to walk in that jackass psychiatrist's office and was like, what's your name? How old are you? 21. Oh, look, the phone. And talked for an hour and then hung it up and said, oh, I'm sorry, that's all the time I have for you. So I'm like, so you're not even going to ask me anything about anything. You're just going to take my name and my age. What a fucking clock. Wrote a nasty letter so I wouldn't be able to get on the hormones. What are you going to do? They were scared even in 99. She ran into it. She actually signed my papers though. But I'm sitting here dealing with all this for decades, and I run this nasty non-op. And people expect me not to say, hey, look, this is the way it is, this is the way it always has been. And then you bring up this transgender crap, and all of a sudden, you know, you're a trans female, and oh, hell no. And that's why they call me TRUSCUM. Transmedicalist. A transmedicalist. Now, that had to be the most comical thing I've ever heard. We're going to go by medicine. Yeah, well, you know, I figure medical science is the best thing to go by. Not by your fifis. And just because you feel like you should be considered a two-spirited, non-binary, trans, feminine man and be called a female, no. And just because you want to be called trans female and keep your wingman, no. Females have always had a vagina between their legs. So if you're going to be a female, be a female. Don't sit there and try to act like, well, I'm a female even though females can have a penis. No, they don't. They have a vagina. Born females come out with a vagina. So you can't change facts. That's a female. That's the one with the slong hanging there.